So, this is the Honor 400 Pro, a phone that tries to offer a near flagship experience, but at a lower price point. On paper, it looks impressive. A 200 megapixel camera, a massive battery, super fast charging, flagship class performance, and 6 years of software support. But the real question is simple: is it actually good in real life, and where does it fall short? Let's break it down. Design and build quality. The Honor 400 Pro is a fairly large and heavy phone. It weighs around 205 grams and measures 8.1 millimeters thick. So yes, you definitely feel it in your hand. That said, the curved 2.5D glass on both the front and back helps with ergonomics. And the phone doesn't feel uncomfortable to hold. The matte, silky textured glass on the back feels nice, resists fingerprints well, and gives the phone a clean, professional look. Honor went with a new camera module design this year. Instead of the rectangular look from previous models, the 400 Pro uses a curved trapezoid-style camera island. It's visually distinctive, but the camera bump is quite noticeable, and the phone does wobble on a table. Build quality overall is solid, but not perfect. Some reports mention slightly loose buttons and minor creaking when pressure is applied to the frame. It's not cheap, but it doesn't quite feel ultra luxury either. On the positive side, the phone is rated IP68 and IP69, meaning it's well protected against water and dust. Display. The display is one of the highlights of the Honor 400 Pro. It's a 6.7-inch AMOLED panel with a resolution of 2800 by 1280, a 120 Hz refresh rate, and support for over 1 billion colors. Everything looks sharp, smooth, and vibrant. The screen has a subtle quad curve design, curved on all four sides, which makes the phone feel slimmer without causing accidental touches. It's a good balance between aesthetics and usability. Honor advertises a peak brightness of 5000 nits, but in real-world use, that number only applies to very specific HDR content. Measured brightness in normal scenarios is much lower. Still, the screen remains readable outdoors and performs well overall. One thing to note is the lack of LTPO technology. That means the refresh rate doesn't drop as low as 1 Hz, which could have helped with battery efficiency. The display also uses high-frequency PWM dimming, which should be more comfortable for users sensitive to flicker, performance, and hardware. Powering the Honor 400 Pro is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. This isn't the newest chip on the market anymore, but it's still very powerful. For everyday use, multitasking, and even heavy gaming, performance is smooth and reliable. The phone comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM and either 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage. There's no micro SD card support. In real-world use, games run well and the system feels fast, but there's a downside. Under sustained load, the phone can get warm and power consumption is relatively high. That's something you'll notice during long gaming sessions. Connectivity is excellent. You get 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, NFC, eSIM support, and even an infrared blaster. However, the USB-C port is limited to USB 2.0 speeds, which is a clear compromise and disappointing for a phone in this class. Fingerprint unlocking is handled by an optical in-display sensor. It's accurate but slower than ultrasonic sensors found on some flagship devices. Face unlock is available too, but it's only 2D and less secure. Software and AI features: the Honor 400 Pro runs Android 15 with Magic OS 9.0 on top. Honor promises 6 years of Android and security updates, which is a major plus and makes this phone more future-proof than many competitors. Magic OS is heavily inspired by iOS. The notification system, control layout, and features like Magic Capsule feel familiar if you've used an iPhone. There are useful tools like Magic Portal that let you drag text or images between apps, which works well in practice. However, the interface can feel busy. There's noticeable bloatware pre-installed, although most of it can be removed. If you prefer clean, stock-style Android, Magic OS may not be your favorite. AI features are a big focus here. You get things like AI Super Zoom, AI Image to Video, AI Eraser, and AI Out Painting. Some of these tools are impressive, but others feel more experimental than practical. Results aren't always natural, and expectations should be realistic. Camera performance. Camera hardware is another strong point on paper. The main camera uses a 200 megapixel sensor with optical image stabilization. In good lighting, photos are sharp, detailed, and contrasty, with multiple color profiles to choose from. There's also a 50 megapixel telephoto camera with 3 times optical zoom and OIS, up to around 6 times or even 10 times. Image quality remains usable, especially for social media. Beyond that, AI super zoom kicks in and results become inconsistent. Details can look artificial, especially when faces are involved. The 12 megapixel ultra wide camera performs well in daylight with natural colors and decent detail in the center. However, sharpness drops toward the edges, and low light performance is clearly weaker. Night photography overall is a mixed bag. Images can still look sharp, but noise increases, colors can be off, and zooming in low light significantly reduces quality. The 50 megapixel front camera with autofocus is a nice bonus. Selfies are sharp, skin tones look good, and 4K video recording is supported. Video recording goes up to 4K at 60 frames per second with both optical and electronic stabilization, helping to keep footage smooth. But video quality still doesn't quite match the very best flagships. Battery and charging. Battery life is one of the biggest strengths of the Honor 400 Pro. Depending on the region, the phone comes with either a 6000 mAh or a 5300 mAh silicon carbon battery. Even the smaller version easily lasts a full day, while the larger one can push into 2-day territory with moderate use. Charging is extremely fast. The phone supports 100-watt wired charging, 50-watt wireless charging, and reverse charging. With the official charger, you can reach around 50% in just 15 minutes. But again, the charger isn't included in the box, which limits the value of this feature. Under heavy load, power consumption and heat increase, which could affect long-term battery health. Final verdict. The Honor 400 Pro is a phone that offers a lot for the price. You get a high-quality AMOLED display, strong performance, excellent battery life, ultra-fast charging, a flexible camera system, and 6 years of software support. At the same time, it's not perfect. The ultra-wide camera and low-light performance are average. The phone can get warm under pressure. macOS feels heavy for some users. There's bloatware, no charger in the box, and USB 2.0 is a real limitation. If you want a feature-packed phone with great battery life and you're okay with Magic OS and a few compromises, the Honor 400 Pro is a very solid option in the upper mid-range to flagship light category. But if night photography, video quality, or a clean Android experience are your top priorities, you may want to look at alternatives like the Pixel 9 Pro or Galaxy S25 Plus.